Any final words of wisdom?
I'd encourage our listener to remember that strategy is not about predicting the future.
Right.
It's about creating the future.
Oh, I love that.
It's about taking control,
Yeah.
being proactive,
Right.
and shaping the world we want to live in.
It's not about waiting for things to happen.
Right.
It's about making things happen.
Exactly.
Right.
And by adopting the CRUX mindset.
But I have to admit,
Yeah.
when I think about applying this CRUX concept,
Mm-hmm.
my brain starts to feel a bit overloaded.
Yeah.
Is there a more structured way to approach this?
Absolutely.
Like a process we can follow?
And this is where Rumelt introduces this fascinating concept called the foundry.
A foundry?
Yeah.
Like where they melt metal.
Yes.
What does that have to do with strategy?
It's a metaphor
Okay.
for a structured process
Okay.
of shaping and refining ideas.
Right.
It involves bringing together
Mm-hmm.
a group of people with diverse perspectives and expertise
Okay.
to analyze the situation,
Right.
identify those key challenges,
Right.
and develop a concrete action agenda.
So it's like collaborative brainstorming,
Yeah.
but with a clear purpose
Yes.
and a framework
Yes.
for turning those ideas
Yeah.
into
Right.
an actionable plan.
Exactly.
Okay, this foundry concept is really intriguing.
Yeah.
But let's be honest.
Uh-huh.
Does this actually happen in the real world?
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
While it's true that things can get chaotic,
Right.
many successful organizations
Mm-hmm.
recognize the value of having a structured approach
Okay.
to strategy development. It doesn't always have to be
Right.
a formal foundry session.
Okay.
But the principles are the same. Bringing diverse perspectives together,
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing challenging,
Mm-hmm.
and developing a coherent plan of action.
So it's like having a roadmap
Exactly.
instead of just driving around aimlessly hoping you'll reach your destination.
Yeah. And the foundry concept emphasizes
Okay.
the importance of having the right people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
You need individuals who can see the problem from different angles
Yeah.
and contribute their unique knowledge and insights.
This is making me think about
Yeah.
all those brainstorming sessions I've been in.
Right.
Sometimes they can be a bit like herding cats.
Yeah.
But when you have a clear structure,
Mm-hmm.
a way to channel that energy productively,
That's when the magic happens.
right.
It's about harnessing the collective intelligence of the group
Yeah.
to create something truly innovative and impactful.
Okay, so we talked about identifying the crux,
Mm-hmm.
leveraging power,
Yeah.
and using this foundry process.
Right.
But the world is constantly changing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
How do we ensure our strategies
Yeah.
stay relevant and effective over time?
Right.
It's not like we can just set a plan in motion
Right.
and then forget about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where adaptability comes in.
Okay.
A good strategy isn't static.
Right.
It's a living,
Yeah.
breathing thing that needs to
Right.
evolve and adapt to changing circumstances.
So it's not just about having a great plan.
No,
It's about being willing to adjust course as needed,
absolutely.
not being afraid to scrap what's not working
Yeah.
and embrace new ideas.
Right.
But how do we tie all of these elements together
Okay.
into a coherent strategy?
Right.
I mean, it's starting to feel like
Yeah.
there are a lot of moving parts here.
You're right. There are.
Yeah.
And that's why Rumelt introduces this framework
Like
called kernel analysis.
kernel.
I know. We're not talking about popcorn here.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What's a kernel in this context?
Think of it as the seed
Okay.
of your strategy. It's
Yeah.
a condensed, clear statement
Yeah.
that captures the essence of your approach to overcoming the crux.
So it's like a blueprint for your strategy.
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
And it consists of 3 key elements.
Okay.
The diagnosis,
Right.
the guiding policy,
Mm-hmm.
and the coherent actions.
All right, break those down for me.
Okay.
What are the 3 parts of this kernel?
Eh.
I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty here.
First, you have the diagnosis.
Okay.
This is where you clearly define
Mm-hmm.
the nature of the challenge,
Right.
explaining why it's important,
Right.
and what's at stake.
So it's not just about stating the problem.
No.
It's about really understanding the root cause
Yeah.
and the potential consequences
Right.
if we fail to address it.
Kind of like a doctor diagnosing an illness
Yeah.
before prescribing treatment.
Exactly.
Right.
Then you have the guiding policy.
Yeah.
This is where you outline your overall approach
Mm-hmm.
to overcoming the challenge.
Right.
It should be concise,
Yes.
actionable,
Mm-hmm.
and aligned with your sources of power.
Right.
Remember we talked about those earlier.
Yes.
Things like our unique skills, relationships,
Yeah.
reputation,
Mm-hmm.
and even our ability to innovate.
Right.
So it's about playing to our strengths,
Yeah.
using our superpowers to overcome the challenge.
Exactly.
And the guiding policy
Yeah.
should also take into account
Right.
the context we're operating in,
Yes.
the competitive landscape, the market trends,
Right.
the regulatory environment, all those factors
Yeah.
that can influence our success.
That's right.
Okay, so we've got our diagnosis,
Right.
our guiding policy, we're feeling confident, we're ready to take action.
Yeah.
But where do we start?
Okay.
What are those coherent actions
This is where the rubber meets the road.
that will lead us to victory?
We take that high-level strategy
Okay.
outlined in our guiding policy and break it down into specific, measurable, and achievable steps.
So we're talking about
Yeah.
creating a to-do list,
Right.
but like a
But a
supercharged
supercharged
strategic to-do list.
strategic to-do list.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And each action
Right.
should be clearly defined.
Right.
Who's responsible?
Mm.
What are the deadlines?
Uh-huh.
How will we measure success?
And most importantly,
They need to be coherent with each other, right?
yes,
No conflicting priorities.
right.
No duplicated efforts.
Uh-huh.
Everything working together smoothly,
Yeah.
like a well-oiled machine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the essence of coherence.
Right.
And it's what separates
Mm-hmm.
a truly effective strategy
Right.
from a haphazard collection of good intentions.
This is amazing. I'm feeling like I have a whole new framework for approaching challenges now.
Right.
But I have to ask, is it really possible to capture all of this?
Yeah.
The diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
the guiding policy,
Yeah.
the coherent actions
Right.
on a single page?
That's right.
I mean, that seems pretty ambitious. It is ambitious,
Yeah.
but that's the beauty of kernel analysis.
Right.
It forces us to be ruthlessly concise,
Okay.
to cut through the clutter and focus on the essential elements.
Right.
No fluff,
Yeah.
no jargon,
Okay.
just pure focused strategy.
Okay. So let's say I've done all this.
Yeah,
I've crafted my one-page
right.
strategy masterpiece.
Okay.
I'm ready to conquer the world.
Yeah.
What's next?
So,
Do I just frame it
yeah,
and hang it on the wall?
Right.
Or is there more to it than that?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
The kernel isn't just a static document. It's a living, breathing guide
Right.
that needs to be revisited and refined
Okay.
regularly.
So we're not just writing it down
Right.
and then forgetting about it.
Remember, the world is constantly changing.
Right.
So our strategies need to adapt as well.
So it's like a roadmap.
Yeah,
But we need to be willing to adjust the route
right.
if we encounter roadblocks or discover new destinations.
Exactly. And that's where those feedback loops we
Yeah.
talked about earlier come into play. Regular check-ins, after-action reviews, continuous learning and adaptation.
Yeah.
All those things help us
Right.
to stay on course and ensure that our strategy remains relevant and effective.
This has been such an insightful
Good.
and inspiring conversation.
Yeah, it has.
We've covered so much ground today.
We have.
From the concept of the CRUX
Right.
to the power of kernel analysis.
Ha
But as we wrap up,
Okay.
is there anything else
Yeah.
you'd like to leave our listener with?
I
Any final words of wisdom?
I'd encourage our listener to remember that strategy is not about predicting the future.
Right.
It's about creating the future.
Oh, I love that.
It's about taking control,
Yeah.
being proactive,
Right.
and shaping the world we want to live in.
It's not about waiting for things to happen.
Right.
It's about making things happen.
Exactly.
Right.
And by adopting the CRUX mindset,
Mm.
by focusing on those essential challenges
Uh-huh.
and leveraging our power
Right.
to overcome them,
Right.
we can become architects
Yeah.
of our own destinies.
That's a powerful thought to end on.
It is.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.